If you are managing projects or work in Jira, automation is literally going to be your best friend. There's a ton of efficiency gains here and a lot of things that we can do to actually improve the quality of life of the work that we do, as well as our teams inside of Jira. But a lot of people just don't use it correctly. So let's jump in and go over exactly how to set up automations and how to effectively use them in your day-to-day. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you where automations actually exist. One of these places you'll only be able to find with specific permissions to global settings in Jira, and the other you'll be able to find on a project level with project level administrator permissions. So global settings, you're going to click on the settings on the top right of Jira and then go to system, and then you're going to have your global automations. So this is only available to site admins in Jira. You may not have access to this, but if you do, this is all of your automations across all of your projects and spaces and literally everything you do inside of Jira. Now, you don't need access to this to get started, but all of your automations will roll up into here. And if you want to create cross-project automations or automations with assets, this is where you'll have to do it. Now, I'm not going to dive into a lot of those nitty-gritty things here. So we're just going to go into a standard project. Let's say I'm going to pull up my procurement space. And then in order to find automations, as long as I do have administrator access here, I could click on the three dots here or here, and then go to space settings. And then there's going to be a tab for automation. This is where we could get started and literally create whatever we want. And I like to think automations as if I'm doing something manually and it's repetitive, or I could find a system or some kind of a consistent way of doing it, I could probably automate it. And literally anything I would do manually, I could automate inside of Jira, which is super, super cool. So the first thing we're going to do is click Create Flow on the top right. And we're going to click Create from Scratch. There's some templates, but I don't really like to use them too often. So I'm going to discard any of my previous changes. And we're going to start with a brand new automation. Now, I'm going to create something very simple that's going to help our teams work a little bit faster. And you could follow along with this first automation because it's going to be very, very basic and easy to set up. So all I want to do is say that when a work item transitions, and let's say it goes into a specific status, which I should have kept track of, but let me just open up a new tab. And let's say it goes from requested into purchased, just as an example. So if it goes from requested into purchased, I want it to do something. So this trigger is going to fire anytime I move something from requested into purchased. So I'm going to actually assign it to whoever made that transition happen. And the reason I want to do this is that a lot of times tickets or work items are unassigned. And as you can see here, all of these are assigned, which is great. But a lot of times we require or want an assignee for reporting reasons or just seeing the context on who's working on what. And what we'll do is require the assignee to be assigned on the work item. Now, instead of requiring that or adding an extra step to click assign or clicking the dropdown and assigning to someone, we could automate that whole process away and essentially get the same result. So what we'll do is on this transition, we will add an action. This action is going to assign. So I'll type in assign, and we're going to assign the work item, and we're going to specify a user. We're going to specify the user, and this is actually the default option, the user who triggered the event. So if I grab that work item, I move it, it's going to assign it automatically to me. So let's go ahead and turn this rule on, and let's say assigning test. And I like to typically name these as a trigger and action. For this, I'm just going to say assignment test while I'm still testing it, and we'll turn this on. Now we'll go back to our board. And in here, let's just go ahead and perform the action. So in this case, it's already assigned to someone, so it's going to overwrite it. But typically, these are going to be blank. And if I move this into purchased, let's see what happens. So assignee's already there. We already have a screen popping up. So let's go here, and now it's dropped in. Let's see if it changes here in just a moment. Boom, there we go, just changed. So super cool. That literally took us maybe a minute to set up. A very simple automation that actually took action for us on a work item. And it can essentially save us time in the future when we're actually going through working on things, when maybe we need to drop comments, change field values, even change statuses. Anything you could do in here manually inside of Jira can pretty much be automated, which is super cool because it saves you a ton of time on basic little things like this that we can just automate away and make Jira super duper simple and fun to use. So let's go over the couple of elements we actually have when we're building automations. So let's go ahead and go back into editing. Let me make sure I could actually edit these. There we go. And Actually, let me start from scratch because that's going to be a little bit easier to show. So really, we're dealing with three elements when we actually set up an automation. The first one is the trigger, and that's the one you see here. No automation could run unless we have a trigger to run it. You really have two general options here, and that is either a scheduled trigger, which happens on specific time of day, time of month, time of week, whatever it is, or it could trigger based on an action from somewhere else. For example, the transition that we just set up, another really common one is work item created. So we'll select that one for this example, but just go through this list and you can see a whole bunch of options as well as some filtering at the top. So maybe I want to trigger from a work item, which is probably the most common thing that you'll do. We could trigger on a field value change, even a manual trigger, sprint completions, version releases, work items deleted, work items moved, work logged on a work item. Literally anything that's done manually can pretty much be a trigger inside of Jira. Again, more commonly, it's going to be work items, and then a lot of times the field value change is very common. So you literally pick any field, custom fields included, that are going to change, and then we trigger this work or this automation to run on that work item when that happens. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to select work item created as this example, and that is going to be all of our triggers. The next two options we have are conditions and actions. Actions we already covered, very simple. Work items triggered, and then we do something. What are we actually doing? That is going to be our action. So in our last action, we assign something, but we can do pretty much anything here as well, right? We could do a login action. We could delay it from running. We could send an email. We can update a work item. We could add a new link. We could clone. We could create a sprint. Again, literally anything you do manually in Jira is probably already an action in here. So super cool because it can save us a lot of time. But before we run an action, sometimes we might want to add some conditions. So let's say our work item is created, but I only want to trigger this work item when it's assigned to me. So when I click on create and I go through filling out my work item, I only want this trigger to trigger if it's something that I am personally assigned to. So maybe it's an automation for me and I assigned it to myself. And the only time this is going to run is if I'm in that field already on creation. So if I want that to happen and not trigger all the time, we need to add what is called a condition. So that's our third element. And typically what's going to happen in your automations is that you'll have a trigger that never changes. You'll have an action that also never changes because there's no point in running an automation that doesn't trigger and that doesn't do something. So those two will literally never change. Optionally, the third thing we could do in here is add a condition, which prevents it from running in certain use cases. So condition, let's go ahead and add that. And then what I'm going to do is select a user condition, or maybe not a user condition. I think I need a work item field condition because that's where I'll pick assignee. Condition is field, and I'll find assignee in here. And then is one of, and I'll just literally type my name, Josh. There we go. So now we have our trigger. And we have our condition, which is the assignee is Josh. That's literally it. And then next we could add our action, which might be to add a comment. So I'll search for comment in here, comment on work item and say, hello, this is Josh. Cool, there we go. So we've set up our three basic elements, and this is the core of literally every single automation that you will ever build inside of Jira. It's literally a trigger, it's a condition or multiple conditions, and then an action or multiple actions. So we could take an action here and we could keep going. We could add another condition, we could add another action, we could add another condition, more actions, whole bunch of stuff here. Now, honorable mention, those are the basic elements. There is also branching, and branching does something slightly unique. It's not a condition or an action, but allows you to layer actions and conditions under it. So let's select the branch flow to related work items. And let's say that we want to take action on not the work item created, but maybe we want to take action on the subtasks of this work item. So maybe when we create this work item, it's going to create a couple of subtasks automatically. We can then, for each of the work items, find the subtask option, and then in this branch, take action on the subtasks. Super cool, right? So we can find different related work items, or like, let's say this work item is created. We want to find linked work items or parent work items or children, which is kind of like subtasks or epics, but whatever it is, right? Linked work items or specific JQL in specific versions, anything related to this work item, we can pull it in as context and then take action on that work item. So in this case, let's say for a subtask, I might want to take an action, and for a subtask, I also might want to drop down a comment. So this is going to take action on a subtask rather than taking action on the actual work item that we originally created. Now, this can get very complicated, right? You could pull in a lot of various things, have a very long, complex automation, and that oftentimes does get very intimidating, but you don't need to start there. All you need to start with is a basic condition or a basic trigger, a basic condition, and a basic action. Now, I will say you do want to add conditions in because every time you run an automation, it does use up your limit. And unless you're essentially on the enterprise level of Jira, you're going to have a limited amount of automations that you can run. And when you don't take an action, it doesn't count as an automation. So adding in conditions when you need to essentially save some automation counts is going to allow you to save some of those limits and use them throughout the month before they actually run out. So use those wherever you can to make sure you're not eating up your limit entirely. Now, those are the three basic elements of automation. When would you use these and why is kind of the question, right? So one of the examples I showed you was to simplify how Jira works. So in this case, if we pull something over into purchased, this one doesn't let me, but let's say this one, we are going to be shown a screen. We're going to be shown a summary, description, editing. This creates friction in Jira. I have to go in and now click an extra button, make sure field values are the same. Maybe this is going to require me to add an assignee if it's blank. And one basic example of using automation is to remove the friction. It's to make Jira simpler, more fun, and more enjoyable. So like I just showed, we can add an auto assign. So if I create a test work item here, we can add an auto assign. Let's say if this is unassigned, let me just remove this from myself or from Kevin, and then we'll pull this over into purchased, and there's no need for a new screen like this one. It's just going to auto assign it to me by default, making it much simpler and easier for me to just keep going and working through my whatever my work is. So making Jira fun and simple is kind of the number one thing I lean on automation for. Number two is just taking action on anything repetitive, anything that is something you do maybe on a daily basis. You could schedule an automation to run, add comments. You can schedule an email for yourself as like a report, for example. A lot of really cool use cases. And the other thing that I like to lean on automations for is for kind of your processes or your workflows. So one simple example of that is an onboarding. Let's say you're onboarding a user and you need to do a select number of things, or an employee, and you need to do a select number of things to onboard that employee. Well, you can create an automation with a parent task that says onboard person, and then spin up and generate a bunch of subtasks that roll up into that parent task on what you actually need to accomplish. So it's essentially creating sort of a checklist for you that you can then track in Jira and then mark things off as it goes. Now, the next level up from that, sort of the kind of peak of automation, is that you could automate away those subtasks. So for example, account creation, we could send webhooks and use automation and HTTP requests to create accounts for individuals. We could also send them emails automatically. We can provision things for them. We could even purchase and send and ship equipment and add tracking equipment for that user. So we can create those tasks and use them as a checklist, but then we could automate that checklist away so that our lives become easier when we're actually using Jira. So those are some of the simple examples, and really, I just like to lean on making Jira simple and taking the things that I don't like to do as much, or the things that I can automate away for myself, and throw those into automations, work through them, and then implement them in a way that's going to save us a whole bunch of time as a team. That's really my number one goal when using them. So try this out for yourself. Jump in, create a few things, play around with it, and over time you'll get ideas on how you could actually utilize this better and how you could actually improve your own Jira environments by using automation.